In this video, we're going to be talking about multiplying polynomials. By the end, you should be able to multiply binomials using F.O.I.L and using the distributive property. The difference between adding and multiplying polynomials is that when you're adding or combining like terms. So you're adding the coefficients, but the variables are not changing. But when you're multiplying, you're going to multiply the coefficients, and then we're applying our rules for multiplying exponents, where we keep the base the same, but we add the exponents above those variables. We multiplied two binomials. We use the distributive property twice. So we take the first binomial and we split it up and we multiply it to the second binomial twice. So we multiply the first term to the second binomial and we multiply the second term to the second binomial. And then we combine them. So when we have 3t plus 6 times t plus 8, the 3t and the 6 get split apart. So we have 3t times t plus 8 and 6 times t plus 8. Distribute that across, so we end up with 3t squared plus 24t for the first one. For the second one, we end up with 6t plus 48, and then we combine like terms. 24t and 6t are like terms because they have the same variable to the same power. And when you combine those, you end up with 30t. And so our simplified trinomial now is 3t squared plus 30t plus 48. Our biggest thing is that when we multiply two binomials, the answer will be a trinomial unless we're dealing with a special product. We also have the F.O.I.L method. And the F.O.I.L method is the distributive property, but we're not splitting it apart. What it says is what it stands for is first, outside, inside, and last. F.O.I.L. F.O.I.L. So this says take your two first terms, so take t and 3t, so take the two first terms in each of your binomials and multiply them together. Then take the two outside terms, so on the outside we have t and we have 6, and so we multiply the two outsides together. Then it says take the two inside terms, the two inner terms, so our two inside terms, when we look at the 4, would be 8 and 3t because they're inside. And then it says take the two last, so it says take the last term in each of your binomials, so our last term being 8 in the first one and 6 in the second one, and multiply them together. And then after you do that, then simplify. So 3t times t would end up being 3t squared. T times 6 was 6t. 8 times 3t would be 24t. And 6 times 8 is 48. Again, combine your like terms, so combine the 6t and the 24, and that gives us 30t. So we end up with 3t squared plus 30t plus 48. We also have what's known as the box method. The box method is a way of multiplying larger polynomials. You can definitely use it for binomials, but it's super helpful when we have larger polynomials. What you do is you multiply each column by each row, and then you combine like terms and then place it in descending order. So for this one, we would end up with x to the 6th power. Or no, not x to the 6th power. Ooh, I forgot how to multiply. X squared times x cubed. Add the exponents, that's x to the 5th power. X times negative 8x squared, that would be negative 8x to the 4th power. Again, we're adding the exponents. X squared times 6x would be 6x cubed. X squared times negative 11 would be negative 11x squared. We go down to the second one, 4x times x cubed. That's 4x to the 4th power. Again, add the exponents. This would be negative 32x cubed, 24x squared, and negative 44x. Then we got negative 7x cubed. Negative times negative is positive, so it's positive 56x squared. Negative 42x. And negative 11 and positive 77. Now, the nice thing here is that in our box method, it's going to be easy for us to combine. So you're combining the diagonals. So x to the 5th is by itself, so I'm going to have x to the 5th. x to the fourth can be combined with negative 8x. 4x to the fourth can be combined with negative 8x to the fourth. 4 minus 8 is negative 4 x to the fourth. So remember, when you're combining like terms, you do the coefficients, add or subtract the coefficients, but leave the variables alone. For negative 7x cubed, that can be combined with negative 32x cubed and 6x cubed. So negative 7 minus negative 32 would be negative 39. And then negative 39 plus 6 would bump that down to negative 33 x cubed. 56 plus 24 minus 11. Well, 56 plus 24, that would give us 80. And then 80 minus 11 would be 60, I believe 69. X squared. We have negative 42x, negative 44x. This would be negative 86x. And then positive 77 stated by itself. And so it's a way to organize multiplying larger polynomials together, and it makes our lives just a little bit simpler. Okay, so we're gonna use this. We're gonna simplify using the distributive, FOIL, and the box method here. So for the distributive, remember that we're breaking this up. So we'll have y times y plus 2, and we'll have 6 times y plus 2, and then we'll combine. Y times y plus 2, that's y times y, which is y squared, and y times 2, which is 2y. 6 times y, which is 6y. 6 times 2, which is 12. Y squared. Combine these to 8y plus 12. So that's the first method. Now if we do FOIL, FOIL would just say, remember, first, outside, inside, and last. So first would be taking y times y, getting y squared. Outsides would be taking y and 2 and getting 2y. Insides would be taking 6 and y and getting 6y. And last would be taking 6 times 2 and getting 12. Again, combining like terms, you get y squared plus 8y equals 12. Or not equals 12, plus 12. So you end up with the same thing. Just pick the method that makes, just look at the method that makes the most sense. Again, I would make sure that you know all three, just so that you have backup plans in place. Box method, again, multiply the columns by the rows. Y times y, y squared. 2y, 6y, and 12. And then combine the diagonal. So no diagonal here, that's y squared. 6y and 2y combines to 8y. And 12 is y itself. So again, you end up with the same thing no matter which method you decide to use. I'm going to stick with the FOIL method here just for the sake of time so that this video is not super long, but know that you can do the distributive property or the box method on here as well. If I'm doing FOIL, remember that's first, outside, insides, and last. So I start with my first. That's a times a, which is a squared. I move to my outsides, which is a and 3. So that's a times negative 3, which is minus 3a. Remember that you have to keep in mind the operation that comes in front. I move to my insides, so that's 6 and a, so that's plus 6a. And I move to my last, which is 6 and 3, and that would be negative 18. Again, 6 times negative 3, negative 18. Combine your like terms, a squared, negative 3a, positive 6a combines to positive 3a minus 18. Again, here, I'm going to stick with the FOIL method because this is the easiest kind of method that we like to use, the one that we commonly accept in algebra. Again, first, outside, insides, and last. I start with my first terms. That's 3w times 2w. 3 times 2 is 6. W times w is w squared. I move to my my outer terms. So my outside terms is 3w and 5. That would give me 15w. I move to my inside terms. that would be 7 and 2w, which would be 14w. And then I move to my last terms, which would be 7 and 5, which would give me positive 35. Combine your like terms, that's 6w squared plus 29w plus 35. When we multiply a binomial to a trinomial, the best method here would either be to do the distributive property, so break up 4x and 9, and do 4 times 2x minus 5x plus 3, and then do 9 times 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. But the best method here would just be to use the box method because it keeps everything organized for us, so that's what I'm going to use. So 4x times 2x squared, this would be 8x to the third power. 4 times 2 is 8. X times x squared, add the exponents, x cubed. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. X times x is x squared. And this would be 12x. 18x squared, negative 45x, and positive 27. Now, combine your diagonals. 8x cubed is by itself. My x squareds can be combined. 18 minus 20 is negative 2, so negative 2x squared. Negative 45, positive 12, this would be negative 33x, and then plus 27. So again, the box method helps us easily organize this information. Okay, we're finding the area of a shaded region. Again, we're going to find the area of the rectangle first. So that would be doing length times width, so 2b 8 plus b squared. Use one of the 3 methods that we talked about, box, FOIL, or distributive property. When you do that, your simplified trinomial is 2b squared plus 12b plus 16. Then you want to find the area of the triangle, which is 1/2 base times height. So again, doing the same thing that we just did before, but now you half it. And so when you half 2b plus 12b plus 16, you get b squared plus 6b plus 8. And then finding the shaded region would be subtracting the area of the rectangle minus the area of the triangle, and that will give you the area of the shaded region. And so make sure that when you're subtracting here that you distribute the subtraction sign throughout that segment binomial. We talked about that in the adding and subtracting video. Again, I hope that you found this video helpful. Please subscribe to the channel to get updates as videos are released, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.